From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Thanks for joining us on this digital edition of the News at 6. I'm Amber Grigley. We begin tonight with a mission to make a difference in the lives of the local Black students. Center for Leadership recently expanded its Project Male Responsibility program into satellite buildings on Indy's east side and far east side. Its purpose to reach youth in high crime areas and to take the stress off the transportation issues. Center for Leadership President Dennis Bland says the program teaches 7th through 10th grade students how to love and believe in themselves.
One of the most predominant responses to our young people in session one, where we do our surveys and we say, what was the most important thing that you learned today? And so many of our young people will respond that the most important thing I learned today is that I am important, that my life has meaning. Now, imagine that.
The 6-week program also focuses on character, education, service, leadership, empowerment, and careers. Domestic violence affects so many lives in so many different zip codes, but some areas see more cases than others. The local organization called Silent No More identifies the 46821 zip code on the east side of Indianapolis as having the highest reported cases of domestic violence. So today, they went directly to that community, hoping to offer their services and resources.
We know that there are people in this community that are calling, needing that assistance, needing the help in trying to flee from domestic violence. We want to bring them those resources. We know that this is not just a pandemic thing, because we were here before the pandemic doing the same thing because they were number one. So we just want to make sure to see what can we do, how can we mingle with the community to see how can we get more resources and get more services to this area for domestic violence.
Silent No More is an advocacy program bringing domestic violence education, awareness, and prevention to the communities in Indianapolis. Also happening today to help raise awareness about domestic violence, a local author published a book sharing personal stories for all women suffering from domestic and sexual abuse. Author Cassandra Anderson lived through years of trauma, including sexual abuse. Anderson hopes that sharing her stories through her book, Rising from the Ashes, a journey from trauma to healing, will not only uplift young Black and brown girls and boys, but all women and children who have experienced or are currently facing domestic violence and or sexual abuse.
There is power in healing. You know, we all have a story, and I firmly believe that what we go through in life is not just for us, but it is to help somebody else to overcome. So just to have this community of people who have experienced, you know, some sort of setbacks and know that they're not alone and share that with somebody is very comforting.
Well, this afternoon, Anderson signed copies of her new book and met with the community at the Eagle branch of the Indianapolis Public Library. Well, millions more Americans can now get COVID-19 booster shots and choose a different company's vaccine for that next shot after the CDC approved the expansion. Getting children ages 5 to 11 is the next big thing on the list. More now from ABC's Elwin Lopez.
Boosters of all 3 vaccines are now authorized, and there is some flexibility for those who want to mix vaccines, choosing a different shot than they received initially.
But there may be people who have a preference for whatever reason to get something else. We would encourage them to discuss it with their physician or pharmacist, to come to the CDC website.
Approximately 70 million Americans, 2/3 of eligible people across the country who are fully vaccinated, are now eligible for that added dose of protection.
My daughter just called me this morning and asked me if she could go ahead and try to fit me in for a booster this weekend for me and my husband. So we said absolutely yes.
Health experts agree. The priority is getting first shots into the arms of those who are still unvaccinated. Children between 5 and 11 years old could soon be among those eligible for shots. Pfizer says kid-sized doses of its COVID-19 vaccine in trials were safe and effective at preventing symptomatic infections in children, with no reported cases of myocarditis, a rare type of heart inflammation. FDA advisors will review data from Pfizer's study next week.
The vaccine effectiveness was about 91%. That means the risk of developing COVID-19 after exposure is substantially less compared to those who are not vaccinated.
But even once the vaccine is authorized for children, some parents may still have reservations.
If people have specific questions regarding their own child's eligibility or the appropriateness for it, they should really talk to their healthcare providers. And so having those conversations will really help to reassure them about the safety and the effectiveness of the vaccine.
Elwyn Lopez, ABC News, Atlanta.
Well, it's time now to turn to weather. Checking in with meteorologist Kyle Mounts for a look at the evening forecast. Kyle, a very wet, weird, look cloudy day today.
Yeah, Amber, we saw just a little bit of sunshine out there, but fortunately it was just a little bit of rain as well. That's going to change big time for our Sunday, though. Out there right now, that blanket of cloud cover, 54 degrees in Indianapolis, close to 60 in Bloomington, 55 in Kokomo, a little bit of a west to south wind. And as you can see, there's a lot of warmth down to the south. There's a warm front in play here, and that's going to be lifting north across central Indiana as we get into the day tomorrow. So it will bring some warmer temperatures, but also more in the way of some rainfall. Here you can see on radar where we've got a few of these very light showers through around Newcastle, Richmond, stretching back through portions of Madison County, also Hamilton County as well. A little more widespread rain here down around Bedford and Seymour, but really should be staying primarily south of Bloomington, so looking pretty good for the IU game. We do have a flood watch, though, that's in effect from Rockville through Crawfordsville, Kokomo, and to the northwest. This is where we're likely to see some of the heaviest rainfall as we go through Sunday and into the first half of our Monday. So this takes us all the way to 2 o'clock Monday afternoon, especially along and north of Interstate 70. Could see 1 to 3 inches of rain, and those northern communities could see a little bit more than that. It tapers off a little bit, but we're all going to see some wet weather here as we go through the next 24 to 36 hours. So here's TrueCast tonight. Any of that rain's going to be very light for us, very scattered, patchy drizzle, that kind of thing. Then as we get toward 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, you can see that rain shield overspreading central Indiana here. Maybe a couple rumbles of thunder, some moderate to at times, some heavy rain. And even as we go into the afternoon, we'll still be dealing with that. Then we should start to see this lift a little further to the north with that actual warm front. But then here comes the cold front and a better chance for thunderstorms and possibly some severe weather. This is just after midnight tomorrow night, but also notice as those storms move into Indiana, they're expected to weaken as they progress from west to east, still leaving behind a little bit of rain into Monday. But for Sunday, primarily in the evening and the overnight hours, some gusty winds, isolated tornado can't be ruled out, but a marginal 1 out of 5 on the scale there across much of our area. So make sure you got that Storm Shield app loaded up and ready to go in case we do have any watches or warnings issued for your location tomorrow. The extended forecast, temperatures will go from around 70 tomorrow to about 60 on Monday. I think they'll actually fall through the day, and we'll keep those highs in the 50s for much of the week ahead. Also a little more active, more showers by Thursday and Friday.
All right, thanks, Kyle, for that weather update. Well, after taking a pause last year due to the pandemic, Mutt Strut was back and on a different path, so to speak. In years past, Mutt Strut has been held at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but this year it took place at Victory Field for the first time ever. Participants stretched their legs with a 1.2-mile walk outside the stadium, then around the White River in the downtown area.
We are just thrilled to be able to have this outdoor event and welcome all the participants with their dogs, more than 50 vendors, family festival atmosphere. It's just been amazing to be able to get out here again.
Well, Mutt Strut is the Indy Humane Shelter signature fundraiser and the largest pet walk in the Midwest. How about that, Kyle?
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun and nice that they had some dry weather today. Tomorrow, not so good for walking the dog.
All right, well, that does it for your news at 6. Thank you so much for making WRTV your choice for news. Our next newscast is tonight at 11. Have a great evening.